Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Learn and I'm Kartika, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe the channel for more commerce videos. So in today's video, we'll be starting with Mercantile Law and its first chapter is Nature and Kinds of Contract. So this video will be available both in English and in Malayalam, and you can choose the language video whichever you want to. So let's start with the class. So in this video, we'll be discussing the definition of contract, essential elements of contract, and also the kinds of contract. So let's start the video. So first, let's start with the definition of contract. According to Section 2H of Indian Contract Act, an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. So what is the definition of a contract? An agreement enforceable by law. That is known as a contract, and it is defined in Section 2H of Indian Contract Act. Okay, so we can say a contract therefore is an agreement, the object of which is to create a legal obligation. It is only a contract. An agreement with a legal obligation only becomes a contract. If there is an agreement but there is no legal obligation, then we can't say it to be a contract. So we can say an agreement to be a contract only when there arises a legal obligation. Okay, so contract essentially consists of two main elements. The first one is an agreement and second one is a legal obligation. There should be an agreement and there should be a legal obligation. So what does the term mean by agreement? Agreement is where when two people agree on something. Okay, so in a contract there should be two people and they should be having a common thing on agreement, and they have to agree on the same thing. Then only it becomes an agreement. And when there is legal obligation on that agreement, then only it becomes a contract. Clear? So now let's see what is an agreement. The agreement is defined in Section 2E of Indian Contract Act, and it defines as every promise and every set of promises forming consideration for each other is an agreement. Okay, so we are promising on something and we are giving a consideration for it, then it is known as an agreement. An agreement comes into existence when only one party makes a proposal or offer to the other party and the other party signifies its assent. That is, I am making an offer to you and you are accepting that offer, it becomes an agreement. And in return, there will be consideration. So it just becomes an agreement. Then what is a legal obligation? An agreement becomes a contract only when it gives rise to a legal obligation. Okay, so I am offering something to you and you are accepting that offer and it is legally obliged, then only we can say it is a contract. Okay, for example, if I am saying that I will sell my scooter to you at 14,000 rupees, and that is an offer I made and you are agreeing to purchase it for 14,000, then it is an agreement. And when it is legally obliged, that is we are making a paper, stamp paper, or we are legally obliged, then only there is a legal obligation, there is a lawful obligation, then only it becomes a contract. That is, we can say when we are selling a house. When we are selling a house, we'll be making it into a legal contract, right? We'll be writing the name, there will be agreement papers to be signed, then only it becomes a contract. If we are just saying that we are just agreeing to an offer, like I will give you 2 rupee candy for 2 rupees. I will give my candies for 2 rupees and you are accepting it, just an agreement. But when there is legal obligation involved, then only it becomes a contract. So we can say contract as defined in Section 2H of Indian Contract Act is an agreement enforceable by law is known as a contract. That means a contract is only becomes a contract, an agreement becomes only a contract when there is two things. First essential element is an agreement. Second essential agreement is a legal obligation. If only these two things are present, it becomes a contract. I hope it's clear to you. Okay. Now let's see what are the essential elements of a valid contract. How does a valid contract becomes? We can see the essential elements of a valid contract. So this essential as a contract is defined in Section 2H as an agreement enforceable by law. I am again repeating it. Contract is an agreement enforceable by law. That is, there should be an agreement and there should be a legal obligation. So there are 10 essential elements which certify a contract to be valid. Okay, So the first one is offer and acceptance. That is, one person should offer something and the other person should accept that same thing. Then only it becomes a contract. Suppose I am giving an offer, that is, I will be selling my house for 2 lakh rupees to you. So there is an offer and you're accepting it, that okay, I will buy that house from you at 2 lakh rupees. Then there is an acceptance. If there is offer and acceptance, then only it becomes a contract. If I am offering you something but you are not accepting it, then it is not a contract. Or if I am not offering but you are accepting something without my offering, then also it doesn't become a contract. A contract only becomes valid when there is an offer and there is an acceptance. Clear? The second one is intention to create a legal relation. So I told you there should be legal obligation. If there is no legal obligation in that agreement, we cannot say it to be a valid contract. That is, I'm saying that I will give my toffees to you at rupees 2. There is no legal relation or legal obligation. So that it cannot be a contract. It is just an agreement. Or I am saying I will give my notebook for you to do your homework. It is just an agreement, but there is no legal obligation. But when I am selling my house to you, when I am offering my house to you at rupees 2 lakh, that is consideration, and you are accepting that offer and you are buying it, then we'll be signing the papers of the house. Then it becomes a legal relation. I am legally obliged to transfer my house to you when you pay rupees 2 lakh, and you are obliged to pay rupees 2 lakh to me when you are buying that house, right? So there is a legal relation. If you are not giving me 2 lakh rupees, I can sue you in the court. I can file a case against you. So when there is a legal relation and intention to create a legal relation, then only it becomes a valid contract. If not, it is not a valid contract. It just becomes an agreement. Clear? Third one is lawful consideration. Suppose if I am giving my house to you for free, then can it be a contract? No, na. There should be a legal consideration. I am saying that I will give my house to you if you pay me rupees 2 lakh. So that 2 lakh rupees is the consideration. So when there is a lawful consideration, then only we can say it as a valid contract. Clear? Then the fourth one is capacity of the parties. So the term capacity of parties means that the person I am agreeing to a contract or entering into a contract should be majority in age. That is, they should not be below 18 years. Then they should have sound mind. They should not be like mentally they have some illness or unsound mind. No. So we should check the capacity of the party. If I'm saying that I will give you my house if you pay rupees 2 lakh, I should also check that if you are able to pay rupees 2 lakh or not. If you are not a person who is able to pay rupees 2 lakh, then there is no reason for me to give you that house, right? So there should be we should check the capacity of the parties. I can't enter into a contract with a minor, a small kid who is below 18 years. Or I cannot enter into a valid contract with a person who is unsound mind. Okay, so we should check the capacity of the parties before entering into the contract. Two sound person or majority age, in the majority age can only enter into a valid contract. Okay, then the next point is free consent. Free consent is that if I'm offering you my house for rupees 2 lakh rupees, it should be a free consent. I should not there should not be fraud, there should not be misconduction, or there should not be coercion. We'll be learning each of these terms in the next few videos. So I should not ask you to force you to buy. Okay, like if I'm just pointing at your gun and saying you should give me that scooter for rupees 10. So I'm forcing you. I should not force you. There should be free consent. If I'm selling something, you should buy it at a free consent. The contract should be equally free from both sides. No one should do any misconduction, fraud, or like forcefully. I should not make you enter into that contract. It is not a valid contract. A contract becomes only valid when it does have a free consent. That is, you and me both are freely accessible into that contract. Okay. Then comes a writing and registration. So according to Indian Contract Act, there may be oral, the contract may be in oral or in writing. Okay. So, but in some of the specific cases, they indent the contract should be in writing and there should be registration done. So, if a contract is in writing and in registration, then we can say it is to a valid contract because it is lawfully enforceable. Okay. Then comes certainty. That is, there should be a certainty in the contract. Okay, suppose A is telling B that I will sell 100 tons of oil to you, but what kind of oil, what type of oil is not mentioned in that contract, so there is no certainty, right? So there should be specific, there should be certain about what kind of oil you are selling, what kind of thing you are selling. There should be certainty. If there is no certainty, we cannot say it to be a valid contract. So there should be certainty. Then next point comes possibility of performance. If suppose A is telling B that okay, I will give you half of the treasure when I find the treasure. So finding a treasure is impossible or possible. There is a lack of possibility of performance, right? So, or if I'm saying A is telling B, I will give you moon. So that is not a possible thing, right? So possibility of performance is a very important thing. When there is lack of possibility of performance, when there is a task which is impossible to do, we cannot say it is to be a contract. If A and B are agreeing or entering into a contract saying A will give B moon for 5 lakh rupees, then it is not a valid contract because that is impossible to do. So possibility of performance is very important in a valid contract. Then comes lawful object. Okay, it means that the object at which two parties are agreeing or entering into contract must be lawful. They should not have a contract on illegal things. That is A and B. So suppose A is saying that I will give you drugs for rupees 2 lakh and B is agreeing and they both are entering into a contract. Is that a valid contract? No, it is not a valid contract because dealing in drugs is illegal. Okay, so there should be lawful object. The object on which they are both parties are entering into contract should be legal. Okay, so that is lawful object. Then the last point is not expressly declared void. It means that the agreement must not have been expressly declared be void under Act. Some section like 24 to 30 specify certain types of agreement which have been expressly declared to be void. For example, an agreement in restraint of marriage, an agreement to restraint of trade. Such agreements, as per Indian law, it is declared to be void. So, not explicitly declared to be void. Those contracts are only known as valid contract. Okay. So, these are the 10 elements of a valid contract. First one is offer and acceptance. It means that in a contract, there should be an offer and there should be acceptance of that offer. Then intention to create a legal relation, that is it should be lawfully enforceable. Then lawful consideration, the agreement, the contract should consider have a lawful consideration. Capacity of parties, the parties should be of sound mind and majority of age. Free consent, a contract should not have any fraudulent practices, it should be free consent of both parties. Writing and registration, in some most of the cases it should be in writing, the contract should be writing in and registered. Certainty, there should be certainty on the object on which the person are entering into contract. Possibility of performance, if that contract, if that object is possible in performance, is also an important factor. Then comes lawful object, the object on which the both parties are entering should not be illegal, it should be a lawful object. Then not expressly declared void. So these are the 10 points of essential elements of a valid contract. I hope it's clear to you. Okay, if you have any doubt in this video, you can put it in the comment section below. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Now let's move on to next topic. That is, now let's see what are the kinds of contract. Okay, so kinds of contract we can classify it into three. That is from the viewpoint of enforceability, from the viewpoint of mode of contract, and from the viewpoint of extent of execution. So there are kinds of contract we can classify mainly into three. First one is view of enforceability, second one mode of contract, and third one is extent of execution. Okay, so now let's see first one, kinds of contract from the viewpoint of enforceability. Okay, so according to enforceability, it can be classified into three as valid contract, voidable contract, and valid contract. So what is a valid contract? It is an agreement enforceable by law. Okay, it is an agreement enforceable by law, and a valid contract is the elements. We just studied these 10 elements. The contract which have contained these 10 elements is known as a valid contract, which is enforceable by law. Then what is a voidable contract? According to section 2I, an agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of one or more of the parties thereto, but not at the option of other or others, is a voidable contract. So to understand this, we can take an example. That is, A threatens to shoot B if he does not sell his new house to A for rupees 3 lakh, and B agrees. The contract has been brought about by coercion and is voidable at the option of B. I told you, when a contract to be valid should be a free consent. There should be no coercion, there should be no fraudulent practice, there should not be misunderstanding, there should not be forcing. Okay, so here A is threatening B that A will shoot B if B is not selling his new house to A at rupees 3 lakh, and B, being threatened, agrees to it. Okay, so the contract is voidable at the viewpoint of B. When B, if going to the court, B can say that is he has threatened me, and because of threatening I agreed, then it is voidable. So such a contract is voidable at the option of B. Such contract is known as voidable contract. Clear? Third one is void contract. What is a void contract? Void means not binding the law. So according to section 2J, a contract which ceases to be enforceable by law becomes void when it is ceases to be enforceable. So we can say supervening impossibility is one type of a void contract. That is, it is impossible to do that contract. Okay, then the subsequent illegality. It is an illegal thing, so we can't get into a contract. So it is void from the beginning. Then repudiation of a voidable contract. So void contract is a contract which is illegal, which is not a valid contract. From the beginning of entering into that contract itself, it is not valid. So such a contract is known as a void contract. Okay. So I hope it's clear to you. So kinds of contract from the viewpoint of enforceability, there are mainly three kinds: valid contract, voidable contract, and third one is void contract. Okay. So the second kind of contract is from the viewpoint of mode of contract. So mode of contract is also classified into three as express contract, implied contract, and constructive or quasi contract. Okay, so the first one is express contract. So what is an express contract? Where both offer and acceptance constituting an agreement enforceable at law are made in words, spoken or written. So when I am giving you an offer by orally or in a written form, then it is known as an express contract. That is, I am expressing my offer. Okay. Example, A tells B on telephone that he offers to sell his car for rupees 20,000, and B in reply informs A that he accepts the offer. So here A is expressing his offer through telephone and B is accepting his offer through telephone. So it is an express contract. Okay. So what is next is implied contract. So what is an implied contract? Where both the offer and acceptance constituting an agreement enforceable by law are made otherwise other than words. So in implied, we are implying that it is a contract. Okay, we are not giving it in a wording or written form or spoken form. We are implying it. Okay, like by acts of conduct of the parties, it is an implied contract. For example, we can say a coolie in a uniform takes up the luggage of B to be carried out of the railway station without being asked to be. and B allows him to do so. So it is the duty of B to pay him after reaching the end of the railway station, right? Because it is an implied contract because A is in coolie uniform. So it means that if he is taking up the luggage, it won't be for free. He would be charging its price. He would be charging his consideration. So it is the responsibility of B to pay him. Okay, so there is an implied contract there. Okay, that is an implied contract. Then comes constructive or quasi contract. This is an obligation of finder of a lost goods to return them to the true owner. Here there is no offer, there is no acceptance. If I am going on a way and I find a lost purse, it is my duty to give the lost purse to the real owner. So that is a constructive or a quasi contract. There is no offer, there is no acceptance, but it is my responsibility, my duty that I should give that purse to the real owner. So such a contract is known as a constructive contract. Clear? So there are three types of contract. First one is express contract, where one person is expressing the offer to the other person and the other person is accepting. Second one is implied contract, where it is implied by the conduct of the parties, we are implying it. Third one is constructive, which is there is no we are having an obligation to like for a finder of a lost goods to return it to the real owner. So that is three kinds of contract from the viewpoint of mode of contract. So the last one is kinds of contract from the point of view of extent of execution. Till how we can execute it. Okay. So in that is classified into two. First one is executed contract. Second one is executory contract. So what is an executed contract? A contract is said to be executed when both the parties to a contract have completely performed their share of obligation and nothing remains to be done by either party under the contract. Suppose I am offering to sell you my house at rupees 2 lakh and you are agreeing it, and you gave me 2 lakh rupees and I gave you my house papers full and you shifted to house. Here it is a fully executed contract. I have done my share of obligation, you have completed your share of obligation, there is nothing remaining to be done in that contract. Such a contract is known as executed contract. Clear? Second one is executory contract. In an executory contract, the consideration is either the promise of performance or an obligation. In such contract, the consideration can only be performed sometimes in future, hence it is named as executory contract. Suppose we are going on joining for a tuition. Okay, tuition in commerce. For commerce, I am going and joining a tuition class. I have to give an advance some money, some consideration. So I have given my consideration. So till that the contract it is there. Then executory, it is the other person have to execute it. The other person have to teach me commerce. So it is an execution. So the other person's part is left to be completed. So such a contract is known as executory contract. So I have paid my advances. I have done my part of the obligation. Now it is the duty of the other person to complete his obligation. Such a contract is known as executory contract. Clear? So in the viewpoint of extent of execution, it is classified into as executed contract and executory contract. Executed contract is when both the parties have completed their own parts of legal obligation. In second, executory is when one person completed his share of obligation, the other party is remaining to complete its obligation. Clear? So that's it. I hope it's clear. So today we discussed what is the definition of a contract. Then we also studied what is an agreement and what is a legal obligation. We also learned the essential elements of a valid contract. Then we went to learn the kinds of contract in which it is classified into three as from the viewpoint of enforceability, from the viewpoint of mode of contract, from the viewpoint of extent of execution. So from the viewpoint of enforceability, it is classified into valid, voidable and void contract. And in the viewpoint of mode of contract, it is classified into as express, implied and constructive contract. And on the extent of execution, it is classified into as executed contract and executory contract. Clear? So that's all for today. I hope it's clear to you all. If you have any doubt, please put it in the comment section below. And this video is also available in Malayalam. You can watch it if you want to. Okay. So if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up and also share this channel to all commerce students you know. And please give your precious feedback under the comment section below. So for more commerce video, keep watching Let's Learn. Thank you.